A warm welcome, George, for an interview with Strategies for a Better Life. And if one person is an example for me, sharp, kind, a lot of knowledge, that's you, George Ross.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Uh, I
Thank you.
feel very honored. I'm always bragging to my clients. Tomorrow I've listened from George Ross. He's so sharp.
Uh,
And now I'm interviewing you. So
Good.
welcome.
Great. Great. It's good. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me. What can I do for you?
As you understand, I'm one of JT's people, so I really am on the other scale of the business level. And I think that's interesting from this COVID time that we all connect to each other, and I do everything in my power to learn more. I'm a natural healer. I'm a coach. So in business, I think you understand. I'm not the most big businesswoman,
You
but
don't have to be. No,
my
no. That's
my power for my job or my profession is, now yeah, that's enormous,
yeah.
and that's my eagerness also to learn from you for my clients. And I have questions about mindset, about loyalty, about whatever is important also for you, because I can have questions, but I know from all the things you talk with JT and us on the webinars, you're really sharp to understand this time and the future to go ahead and to move
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay. You fire away. You ask the questions. I'll give you the answer.
Yes. A lot of entrepreneurs are working there very hard, although they're in financial trouble to save their business, or they have fear. Um, can you tell my listeners about the mindset to overcome fear, to do business anyway? What, because you have been also through a lot of not only good things, you worked your way up. Can you tell about how to manage the stress so you can be sharp and good to negotiate your business or to go on with your business?
Well, okay. You raised a number of very excellent points. The first thing is you have to analyze where your business is, where it's come from, and where you think it's going. And if you got pluses, so yeah, it's good, it's going, it's continuing, and it's just a question of the time that's giving the hardship. That's one thing. On the other hand, if in fact over the past 5 years your business has declined on a regular basis, then you might look and say, is this going to be the same? Should I sell it or get out of it? Because it was so it's having a finger on the pulse of your business and then acting accordingly. Now, the problem with most people that I find, if they've been there for a number of years, they think it's going to last forever. No, but you think it's going to last forever. Well, it's good. I've been in business for 20 years and I never had this. Yeah, but yeah, now what happened over the 20 years? What is it now? So it's the ability to look at facts as you see them and how you can properly assess them on a logical basis going forward, even in a time of crisis. So it's an awareness of facts surrounding, also the technology that's around you
Definitely.
and your staff and where it is, or you and your finances. How much money do you have? How much do you want? How are you facing the future? What's your age? How many do you have children? What's your lifestyle? So it's getting a handle on everything that's important at the particular time now, and then figure out, good, where do I want to be in 5 years, 10 years, or what have you, which depends on your age and, of course, depends on your health. If you have your health, everything else is second best.
Yes. And I really appreciate that you say that, because my profession is health, and I work with clients whose health is very important for themselves, their family, their business, and also and that's also on my list to talk with you, to give back to the community. But first, you have to take care of yourself. I want to ask you about the money. As an entrepreneur, we need to invest. Um, I'm a small entrepreneur, so I invest every time my bookkeeper says you spend too much money on coaching, on doing things. But I work for 30 years now. I'm still living, can do things. Is there a critical point to say this investment is okay or this is too much?
Yes, yeah. But first of all, you said you're a small investor. That doesn't mean you're an investor. You don't have to be small or large. If you're saying I'm an investor based on how much money I invest, that doesn't make you small or large at that point. Just means how prudent you are in your nature investments and what your appetite is going forward for additional investments. But the concept is basically the same for any entrepreneur. Where are you? How much money do you need? What's your lifestyle what's your lifestyle, and where you want to be at a certain point in time, and what's the best way of going? Now, if you have excess money that you want to invest in something that's fairly safe. You know, to say this is what I need. So this is what I'm looking for income property that's going to be good for the next 10 years. On the other hand, if you have money and you want to take a flyer, take a flyer. So say take a flyer, you put it in and say I'm in for 2 years. If it works for 2 years, fine. If it doesn't, I'm out. But I can afford to lose that. So it's analyzing what you want to do with your money and how much money you have to put into those categories.
Yes. Thank you. Is there, because you were also at apprentice, and is there in my profession, sometimes it's really difficult to have the right clients, to be honest in my marketing, because it's about health. I cannot promise they stay alive, because that's, in the end, it's not the truth, but to do as healthy as possible. For the future, is there a risk in the reality of your business? And I
Yeah.
say that because there are a lot of colleagues of me. I work for 30 years now, and because of the crisis in 2008, and of course, I had that as well. But it gave me even more courage to go on. Even I had also some challenges. And other people stopped because, oh no, it's not working, I'm retiring. And I said, this is the best thing I can do with my life, so I won't stop. But if I need to be more clever or more understanding of business, and that's why I came with JT. Do you have criteria for people like me?
Yeah, I have, first thing is the first criteria I have, not necessarily people like you, but I have criteria, is if you don't like what you do, get out. Get out.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money you're making. The effect, the toll it has on your body and the toll it has on your mental capacity is immeasurable.
Yeah.
So be sure you're doing something you like. It has nothing to do with money. That's number one. Now, it's good if you're doing something you like and you're making money, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're not making money and you're still doing something you like, that's better. If you're making a lot of money but you hate what you're doing, that's terrible.
Yes.
So it's knowing what your structure is, what your health is, and to get people to recognize the weak spots in their body. Everybody's got weak spots. So is your memory going? Well, that's one thing. Now I have to do something to improve my memory. Is my health going? Do I find I get tired? I get stressful. I can't walk. My body doesn't react at that point. I have internal problems. I have diabetes. If you understand your body and what it's telling you, you can react to it. So you have to figure out how do I change or arrange my lifestyle so that I'm maximizing the effect of what I'm trying to do to solve, and I'm minimizing the negatives. So that's hard because when people are young, I can live forever. Yeah, who says? I don't have to worry about my heart. Oh, no? How do you know? I don't have to worry. So it's getting good medical advice, seeing your competent physicians, keeping a track on it, keeping a record or an idea of yourself, and you know it when you see things change, or that do it periodically. So do it once a year, or 6 months, whatever it is. So, and you learn what your weak spots are. And this is personal. You are the only one to know if you get tired at the end of an hour. Nobody can tell you that.
That's really important information for my clients. Thank you to say that. And I think I will help my clients, or not help, let them realize to invest in their health even before they get tired.
And that helps them, no question. No, to me, we started out, I told you, health is every health is number one. Everything else is second best.
Yeah.
So you understand that, and then if you are willing to listen to your body, there are certain things that it's going to tell you, and you react to it. Certain things say, "Hey, my mind is not as sharp." Okay, so if my mind is not as sharp, how do I improve my mind, or how do I fill in the blanks?
Yes.
So I know now at my age, I'm 94, and I put in to say, how do I fill in the blanks? If I don't remember something, I write it down.
Do it.
I write it down.
Yes.
Now
Accept
I write
it.
it down now, and then because I know that in 20 minutes I'll say, what was I thinking of? I don't know, but I wrote it down. So it's changing your habits to make the most of eliminating your deficiency, whatever it may be. And that's important. And that could be your health, that could be your breathing, that could be your diet, that could be your weight, it could be any number of things. As long as you're aware of what it is, you can figure out what's the best way to do it.
Definitely. You're a great advisor. It's good to know also your physical numbers, not only your numbers, your physical numbers and
Yes. And this is it's what I find intriguing, as far as I'm concerned, is that the younger people think they're going to live forever.
Definitely.
I don't have to worry about it. What do you mean you don't have to worry about it? How do you know? Like this, you're not going to live forever. So the key is to be aware of the changes that are taking place in your mind and your body, and then deciding how important they are, and do I need help? So when you start to see the trend, that's the time you can come up with a solution. So if you find all of a sudden I'm gaining a tremendous amount of weight,
what's the matter?
That's it. And I say, good. Why? What is it? How does it affect my body?
Yeah.
Well, you go to a doctor, physician, they check it out. They'll tell you got this problem with this, or with the liver, or whatever. You can get a handle on with the areas that are suspect.
Yes.
And then you can act accordingly. Unfortunately, this is something that you get when you're older, but you don't have it when you're young, because you think, I don't need it.
No.
That's the mistake.
It's like real estate. You have to make really a good foundation to build on and build on. Then you have
absolutely.
You
have to be aware of what it is at the time.
Yes.
Okay, not what it was 5 years ago or 5 years from now. What is it now?
Yes. So about years, one of the things which strikes me in your life story is your I see that as loyalty, and I think that's really intriguing. You're a lawyer, so you are looking for perhaps avoiding trouble or dishonesty, and you were very loyal. I think I realize it's loyalty when you work so long for the Trump organization.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me? And for us in the Netherlands, I'm from the Netherlands. It's intriguing, and I thought I'm going to ask you the question: what is for you? What was for you, or is for you? I think you're extremely loyal. What is for you loyalty?
I think loyalty is very important, extremely, in any employee or in anything that you're telling anyone. If you're giving them advice, be loyal. Now, the advantage basically that I had when I spent most of my time with Donald Trump was, it's not the loyalty was, I would tell him what I really thought about something, not what he wanted to hear.
Because you thought, I am independent.
Absolutely. I had no financial interest in his businesses.
Yeah.
Right. We were not friends. We were associates, but not friends. And I was now an advisor. So if he asked me, what do I think? I told him what I thought. I don't care what he wanted to hear. It's just, but I gave him my advice, and that's what he appreciated. I was giving him an independent opinion.
Because everybody nods yes when you have a certain level.
Now,
Nobody is
understand, the relationship was different. He could not fire me because he never hired me. So I was there because I wanted to be there. Now, as soon as it wasn't appropriate. If he wanted more, then I was willing to give him. If he said, I'd like you to slant your opinions in my favor, forget it. I'm history. I'm not that. I'm going to tell everybody the truth as hard as it is. And this is one thing I said, you never have to defend the truth.
No,
You only have to defend lies.
definitely. And that's very bad for your health.
Absolutely. Because
Very
you're always
bad.
covering it up.
Yeah,
It's not something you get rid of.
Yeah.
Not just because you're going to say, what's the next thing that's going to happen? Well, this happens. And now it does something else. Well, how do I handle it? It's like an infection that keeps getting worse.
definitely.
And unfortunately, or I wouldn't say unfortunately, what I found typically is that the more money that's on the table, the more people are willing to overlook situations. If the price is right, they can be bought.
Yeah.
That's a fact of life.
Yeah, I think so. Even in the Netherlands, there was a scandal for basketball.
Everywhere. It's not the Netherlands. The Netherlands is great, but it's everywhere. And you understand it. When the time comes, and I always look at it this way, I said that when there's enough money on the table, people will change their ideas to match what's on the table. So they'll give up some of the truthfulness. They'll give up some of this and say, well, yeah, because the stakes are high, I like the money. So you basically change, or you'll adapt your character, which you've established over a number of years, for money. That's bad.
And how did you keep your character and your heart and your mind all together?
You remember somebody once wrote, and I don't know who it was, it says, to thine own self be true.
Yeah.
And boy, that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And this is something I have adapted basically all my life, because my father taught me that. And yeah, it's fine. I have no problem sleeping. I tell people what it is.
Yeah.
If they say, I don't like what you said, I said, that's a problem. I don't care. I told you what I thought. If you don't like what I said, get another lawyer.
He was important for you, your father.
Extremely.
Yes, I studied you, of course, yesterday.
Yeah.
And even before. So you really, he gave you a lot wealth because of his knowledge.
In a short period of time. Yeah, he died when I was 16.
That's what's
But he gave me a lot of information on dealing with people, and a lot of information on how you should go through life.
Yeah. And you picked it up so young. And you picked it up so young.
I did, but you know what? I didn't pick it up then. I picked it up 20 years later.
I tell my clients, talk to your children. They will listen later to you. But
all of a sudden they'll say, I didn't realize my parents were so smart.
Yeah.
That's what'll happen.
My son asked me just a few weeks ago, Mom, how did you do that? That was 20 years ago. It was a challenge, my son. I said, finally you realize something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's how they mature.
Definitely.
They have to learn how to solve the problems themselves, but you can give them guidance. You cannot live their lives. So you cannot walk in someone else's shoes.
No, definitely not. That's true love, to let them do their thing. Can you tell me, because I look at the clock and that's really important for me, because I know JT talks a lot, of course, about the money, and I really am interested also in charity.
Yes.
Because you do a lot of charity, and I'm a Rotarian, and I organize all kinds of things with my Rotary. And I think, what can I learn from George to do a lot of charity and to organize the things well, to And also giving is not giving money. We think also getting
Right.
people in action is much better
Absolutely.
than giving money.
More important than giving money. But
Definitely.
one thing that I have done for many, many years, and I still do it. When I say many, many years, for I'd say at least 40 or 50 years, that since I was very poor, well, not dirt poor, but my father died at an early age, and I joined the army and what have, forget that. But I made up my mind early on that I would never be poor again. All right, I will provide for my family, I'll provide for my wife, and I will live an appropriate lifestyle. Now, so what I did, and I still do, every year at the beginning of the year, I put down what's my income anticipated based on what I have available this year. Then I take the next column, expenses. What are your expenses? And I put any expenses that I want. So now, for example, now that with all the years and so forth, I say vacations. Well, my vacation is expenses this one. I put down $150,000 because I like to take my children on a cruise.
Fantastic.
All right, now, so I put all the expenses, all the income, figure out my lifestyle, whatever it is, and then you look at the bottom. If the income exceeds the expenses that you anticipate, you can do something with that money. There's the money for charities. On the other hand, if your expenses exceed the income, you got two choices: cut down the expenses or increase the income. But
Yeah.
you don't have money for charity without affecting your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So doing this every year, I get a pretty good handle on where I am and where I want to be. And then I act accordingly. When I've got money left over, which I have, but I provide, understand, I have provided life insurance. I have provided money for my wife in the will. I have provided for my grandchildren in trusts, and I invited my children in trusts. So I've taken all of these things into consideration.
Their business. Yeah.
And I said, so now, having done all of that, what do I want to do now if I have money left over? The answer is I give to charity. But I also spend time. I sit on 4 boards to give them the benefit of my knowledge.
Okay.
But that's important. Now,
Yeah.
let's put it this way: if you don't have the money, fine, give your knowledge.
That's what I do.
Anybody.
That's what I do. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. You're benefit your experience. I said I have a lot of not they may be contemporaries, but men that were very successful, and now they've retired. So they go to Florida, what have you, and they do very little. When I say, yeah, the next thing is what doctor's appointments I have, what I have when. But I say, why don't you mentor? Why don't you take some child from an inner city and mentor them? Give them the benefit of your experience. Go to a hospital, read to some, do something within your time frame. It's not necessarily money. The easiest thing in a charity is to give a check if you have the money.
Yeah.
That's the way out. The hardest thing is to spend the time and to get involved, but that's how you make a difference in the life and your world.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Thank you for your knowledge and your wisdom. I wanted to ask also about marketing and branding. I don't know if you have any advice for me. Do you have an advice for me how I can make the next step?
Yes, yeah, marketing, branding. What are you branding? What's your product? You?
I don't have a branding.
No. I say everybody. Let's put this. You have just in this week. We haven't met that much before. Do we ever meet before?
No, I watched you a lot, of course, with JT, but we never met.
Right. So now I'm basically judging you from this short interview which we have, and I look at you. You remind me of my grandmother, who I loved. You have a nice way about you. You're friendly. At this, that you don't have the youthful experience because you're not that young. Because you're not that you're old, but you have a world of experience, and you're very friendly. You ask a lot of questions, which are good. Now that's your commodity.
Okay.
Your commodity is the fact that yes, you're a good listener and you have experience. And you have experience in a very important field, health. What is more important than health?
Nothing.
Nothing. Money is not more important than health. It started out
A
in
little
the,
bit.
in the interview, when we started, I said everything else is second best.
Yeah.
So now if you can basically bring out that your experience in how to let people live a very healthy life and still achieve the results that they want from a monetary standpoint, or fitting in with their community, or working with their church, or what have you, that's your logo.
Okay.
That's what you have to do, right? Now, so what you do it. So based on your experience, yes, you got experience. What have you got now? Basically, you're in the health field.
I worked 30 years. My practice, when I was 31, I gave up my job. I was a single mother. I had no other income. And then I thought, I can do a business. And then
Well, but don't you get what you're telling me now is that's your trademark.
nobody gave me money. The
Yeah,
bank
you
said,
got all of that. So what you did from where you were to where you are is a story worth telling. And that's how you say,
funny
yes,
story.
you can. Yeah, it's a good story.
It's a good story, yes.
So if you can do what you did, and being a single mom or whatever, and accomplish what you have now, and the ability to give the knowledge that you have created, the knowledge that you learned, to make somebody else's lives better, that's it. That's your product. I'm going to make your life better.
Yeah.
And because of my experience and my years. Now,
Yeah.
if you were 20 years old, I don't want to listen to you. How are you going to make my life better? You haven't lived enough.
Who is she? Now,
That's
now I have some
So now,
authority. Yeah.
and all you have in your background, if you bring out your background in your resume or what you, it's intriguing. I just got to. I heard this. We never met before. I only heard it. A
Okay.
single mother who's accomplished what you've accomplished. It's
So
challenging.
I'm your first time experience. I always say I love first time experience.
It is. But see, I see that you know what, you're easy to talk to. You immediately come across as being friendly, which is wonderful, because if people like you, they will deal with you. If they don't like you, they won't. So now how do you pick likable? You're likable, you be interested in what they do, you're interested in their health, you're going to show them how to improve it. You're going to show if they follow your mode of life, they have a better chance of living for a lot of years happily.
Definitely.
That's perfectly. That's what you're looking for. What else do you want? That's what they want.
I always worked, and I said to myself, if I was a millionaire, would I do the same today? And then I said, yes, only a little bit cleverer, hire someone to
That's
do
right.
my garden.
Yeah.
But,
No, and many times in various lectures which I've given, and in the environments where I've spoken to a lot of people, big audience, so this one, and somebody says, if you had to do it all over again, what would you change in your life? And the answer is nothing. I did the best I could with what I had. What would I change? I didn't change the facts. Would I have changed it? Yes. I wish my father had lived a long life, but he died when I was 16. I can't change that.
no.
So now, did you do the best you could under the circumstances? If the answer is yes, you have to be very happy with yourself. If the answer is no, then you shouldn't be happy. You say, how do I improve it?
And that's what I do also, because I'm really interested in when I learn or when I do something like going to JT. JT said this afternoon, the right brainer is going to me, and then, oh, what's happening? I was really eager to go to JT because I thought I can learn. It's a great experience.
Yes.
And now talking to you, that's the best what can happen. And I think I want to encourage people and to give an example. You're the example. If you do what you love, if with integrity and knowledge, then yeah, things will go.
Yeah,
Things will go right. In the end, sometimes not, but then you have to. I learned a new word. You have to pivot it. I think you have to pivot it sometimes as well.
Yeah.
That's not so bad. It's good.
No, it's not.
Stronger.
It's not.
If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, we say in the Netherlands.
That's to understand that the key, in my estimation, based on my own personal experience, is that in life, if you want to be content or happy, call it what you like, there is a balance. The balance is number one on income and money or lifestyle that you have based on your wealth. And the other part is your family, your church, your environment. What are you giving back to the community? And that's the charities. If you can balance the two, you will be happy. If you can't, then you're going to have to figure out which one you're going to correct. Do I need more money? If the answer to that is, that's what I'll have to do. If I have to create, at this point, spend more time with my family or with my community or my church, then do that. If you can balance it, you got it. Then you're content. If you don't, you got to figure out which one needs more attention.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, George.
You're welcome.
We
Pleasure
covered
talking to you.
all the questions, and I realize how worthwhile it is to talk with you. I wish you lots of happiness and joy with your family, and I really wish you can coach a lot of old JT's people, because it's really, really worthwhile. And I thank you very much.
As many as that want it, I am more than happy to give them the benefit of my experience. Whether if they use it, fine. If they don't, that's up to them. I don't care. I'll tell you what I think, and it's honest.
Yeah.
And I don't really care where you're coming from, where you are. It's a question of where would you like to be.
Yes.
So I say, how can I change where you are to where you want to be? But in order to that, you really have to know where you want to be.
Definitely.
So you have to know what your goals are. And that's so you have to search and get the answers that you can only provide yourself.
Thank you very much. And
you're welcome very much.
I hope my listeners will like this too. I thought I'm going to not to interview you, but I want to ask you all the questions which are important for me. And I'm hoping that my listeners in my Millionaire Flick show or whatever, because this is great to share your wisdom. And
it's good. That's it. That's the key. That's what I try to do now after all this, is to share the wisdom I've accomplished over all these years.
Yes. So I wish you all the best, and I follow you at JT, and whoever knows, we can meet when we can travel again, or
well, let's hope it's not too far away.
No, we will see when we get vaccinated. We'll wait and see.
Good.
Okay, thank you very much, and bye-bye.
It's a pleasure talking to you. Be
well.
It was
a pleasure for me as well. I don't know the time. I never look on the clock. Oh, it's in half an hour, so we did well.
You're okay, good. Perfect.
Okay. Bye-bye, George. Take care.